64-bit legends. Welcome.
Legend of the game like GoldenEye, I'm more than right.
Yeah.
In the perfect dark is dreams that seem to come to life. 64-bit, the shit, it's as real as it
Yeah.
gets. We can
Yeah.
talk sports, games, and music, take your pick. Point with the news, pull up and crack a brew. Smoke one with the crew,
Smoke.
tune in and take a view.
Watch.
We here to raise the bar from the lowest mark. Sit your ass down and listen, it's time for the show to start.
What's the difference between being hungry and being horny?
The difference between being hungry and being horny. I don't know.
It's where you put the cucumber.
Oh, man.
I am Bobby Caboose, as always, looking for that hot tag is Melvin Troy.
Tag it in. That's a
And-
knee slap. I'm tagging in with a knee slap.
And by the intro and the beginning line of this podcast, we are going to be talking about comedians, jokes, Gilbert Gottfried.
Yes. I mean, we kind of touched on like when we've had a bunch of people kind of pass on as of reason. Norm
Yeah.
Macdonald, we
Norm
talked about
Macdonald.
that. Fucking Razor Ramon,
Betty White, right?
Betty White, yeah.
She didn't make it into 2022.
Chris Rock.
Chris.
That slap.
That slap kind of.
it
Well,
wounded him.
it wounded Will Smith, I think, a little bit more because he's
Yeah.
been cucking
That's true. They as of now, he's banned
for 10 years.
10 years. He can't go back to the Oscars. It's
Mm-hmm.
bittersweet.
Yeah, he wins his first, and now he's banned.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's be honest. Is he going to win another one? Probably not.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Who knows?
Because I don't even know what he won it for.
Yeah,
I think
he won it for that he played Venus and Serena's dad in a movie.
Is it
It's called like Papa Jones or something. It's
Papa Jones?
It's called.
Papa Jones. Is that even their last name?
No,
I thought
it's
they're
Williams. But
Yeah.
he's got a
Joe.
nickname. He's got a nickname. It's like Papa Joe or something. I don't know. He's
Papa Joe.
he's known by a nickname. I'm
I
telling you.
think I kind of know what you're talking about, but I don't think it's Papa Joe.
I'm pretty sure it's something close.
Hold on a sec. I gotta look this up because this sounds fucking ridiculous.
It's called like either Papa
That's-
Joe or Papa Jones.
That's
Or,
what fucking. It sounds like something my dad calls Joe Biden. Fucking Papa Joe.
yeah.
Fucking,
And
hold on a sec. Let me look this up. What was that? Will Smith. What
Will
was-
Smith, Venus and Serena Williams movie.
Yeah. What was the movie?
It's called like Papa Joe or something.
Papa Joe.
I'm telling you.
Hold on. Oscar-winning movie from Will Smith. It's called King Richard.
Same thing.
Papa Joe, King Richard. Very
Same
different-
thing. I told you he had a nickname, and it's you put as much respect on King Richard than you do Papa Joe.
Joe. I don't think. I
Like
don't
that's in the
think-
same fucking realm.
I don't think he would have won for a movie called Papa Joe.
Well, okay. What if it was Papa Richard?
That would make a little bit more sense.
Well, I know. I just didn't know his name, so
Oh,
it was pretty much
God.
the same thing.
Well, so, aside from that, yeah, Gilbert Gottfried died.
Yeah,
He's
today,
dead. He died as of we're recording this, Tuesday, the 14th,
the 12th
the 12th. Is it the
of
12th?
April. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, all right. Whatever day it is.
I went to Monday Night Raw yesterday. It was B's birthday Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
I know what day it is. It's the 12th.
Yeah, the 12th. I mean, what a way to follow up on a great night like that. You go to Monday Night Raw, you're like fourth row,
Yep.
camera side seats. People have pictures
Yep.
of you on TV
Yep.
talking shit to somebody.
Yep. I talk shit. We talk shit to a lot of people. And we, the thing is, this is a little, we didn't, like, we were in our pre-show notes or whatever the fuck we just did. We didn't talk about this at all.
Yeah.
But I want to bring it up because I did talk to B about it last night, and we talked to a couple dudes next to us. Unfortunately, Detroit is not a cool city for wrestling.
Really?
And what I mean by that is, like, if you go to places like New York or like Boston and stuff, their crowds they're not sheep. They don't just root for the good guy.
Yeah.
And, I like a lot of the heel characters. Like, it's like, if you ask any wrestler, they're going to tell you that, they prefer playing a heel because you can be an asshole and it's funner, right? You don't have to be like, go kids, eat your vitamins,
Yeah.
hustle, loyalty, respect. You don't have to do that shit. You could be like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, go fuck yourself. I hope your school bus crashes tomorrow. You could do that as a heel.
Right.
You can't as a baby face. And our issue yesterday was everyone just chants for the heels or chants for the baby faces, and they never go against the grain. Like me and B were trying to cheer for the Miz. We were trying to cheer for this person and that person, and we couldn't gain enough steam behind it. Like there was a chant that Cody Rhodes was versus the Miz, and they started chanting "Let's go Cody," and me and B and a couple other people got to a point where it was noticeably, or at least we could notice it, that, they would chant, "Let's go Cody," and we said Cody sucks, like in between. So we did get that, that little bit of momentum, but like, yeah, Detroit is not a cool city that like they come up with cool chants or they root for the bad guys or like they just, like, I wish they would do like Vince wants you to do certain things.
Right.
I want people to go against the grain in the city.
Right.
And they don't.
Well, I honestly think that they just don't have anybody all that interesting to do that with. Me personally, I don't get the same. Now, granted, I'm not as hardcore of a fan, but I don't get the same visceral reaction to want to like chant for a heel like back in, we'll say, like the Pillman era, where they were able to pull out like weapons and guns and shit. That was 1 week. That was dope as hell. Like you look at Stone Cold Steve Austin trying to do a B&A and then someone pulls a gun on him. You're like, whoa, I don't even know who's a good guy in this situation. It's crazy. Like that's what they're missing. People need to be confused a little bit. They need to be like, who's good, who's bad, and are any of these people morally right? And hey, is someone going to give birth to a hand?
They could.
Like that. These are things that we need to be able to expect and look forward to. We need the freak show back. Let's bring it back. Come on, Vince.
Yeah, and it's like even like with the women, like like they root for who they're supposed to root for. And like there was a time where, they were chanting for Bianca Belair and it got quiet and I just stood up and yelled, "Bianca sucks." And she looked at me and just smiled. It was funny because I was like, I legit like stood up when everyone was sitting down. So like she could see just me.
Yeah.
And she just like kind of like smiled and, gave a little smirk. And it was funny to me,
Yeah.
So.
Well,
but it was a fun time.
It does sound good. I mean, that would be kind of cool to be able to see it from that angle.
So we went to the bar before.
Yeah.
We got down there. B was running a little late, and Hall Road, it's fucking terrible. There's always traffic on Hall Road 59 if you're from the area. But so he gets to my house. And we go down there, and we go to, it was at the LCA, the Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah.
And there's a bar next door called Harry's. It's been there forever.
Yeah.
And it's a cool little spot to, pregame. We get there. We took, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe we had 5 shots and 4 drinks in 45 minutes.
Jesus Christ. Why?
We had to get our buzz on before going in. Like B looks at me. Looks at me and he's like, "Man, I'm not really feeling it." And then I go to the bathroom and I come out and he's like, "I'm kind of feeling it now." So it was funny. We had some shots of tequila and
nice.
Some vodka, club sodas, some white girl drinks.
Those are classy drinks. There's nothing wrong with it. As an adult, I mean, here's my thing. As an adult, we shouldn't be drinking beer as adults, okay? Beer that's for the young people. And you're going to drink light beer because you can drink more of it and you can just piss it right out. This whole craft beer bullshit nonsense, it's just a bunch of people that want to drink bread. They just want to drink flavored bread and get drunk on it. And they can't drink a ton of it, so that's why they got to make sure they get their alcohol content. That's why it's like 12% alcohol for one of these drinks.
Like beer, I think beer is disgusting now.
It is. It's
gross. Since I haven't drank beer in a couple years, it's like when you drank beer in high school. Like you're just drinking to get drunk and you don't really like the taste. And that's how I used to love Bud Light. And now, last time I had a Bud Light, like I had 3 of them, and it was hard to get down. It was like drinking those Kirklands all over again.
Yeah, the fucking Costco beers.
The fucking 48 pack for $12.
It's It's rough. A Bud Light, I could still drink a Bud Light, but I could drink like one. I used to be able to drink a lot more of them, but I just cannot handle it because it feels like, yeah, it's just nothing but straight up carb. You're drinking carbs. You're drinking bread.
It's like you're drinking soup.
Yeah.
Like you're just getting full.
Yeah, and it's unnecessary, and it's so much easier to get drunk off of something else like a whiskey. I will
Or
appreciate
like a
whiskey.
claw.
A
like
White
a
Claw,
fucking
yeah.
seltzer, dude. You have those fucking surges.
Yeah.
And I fucked up on that because I had fucking like 7 or 8 of those bitches, which you're only supposed to have like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I blacked out and I fucking prayed to the porcelain god
Yeah.
and drove home. I don't know why. But, I made it.
Well, that's important. Well, I mean, so to get back, R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried. This is what This is what we came here to do. We came here to talk about Gilbert Gottfried.
Dude, side note again. You mentioned Scott Hall, right?
Yes.
So I was listening to DDP's got a new podcast.
Right.
It's called like the Snake's Pit or something, and it's with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Right.
And him, and they had a tribute show to Scott Hall, and Jake, I believe it was Jake. He was talking about he's only fought Scott Hall twice.
Okay.
One was in JCW.
Really?
And they talk about it.
Really?
And they talk about it. They like, and Jake was like, look, man, he goes, those clowns get a lot of shit, but he's like, they're good people.
Yeah.
And like, he goes, me and Scott were having a decent match.
I probably have the DVD around here somewhere.
I know. But then he said someone threw a beer bottle at Scott and it hit him. And Scott stopped, and he's like, "Fuck this," and he fucked up a fan, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or he tried to. That's that.
Yeah.
There's probably not a lot of proof.
Yeah.
Except for the DVDs that you have.
Yeah.
So, but it was just funny when I was listening to that. I forgot to tell you that, and I listened to it a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's interesting to know. I mean, they do. They for a while they were getting some like interesting. I mean, It's interesting to see like someone like Bobby Lashley as like a big time guy, because he was, when I was working there, I met Bobby Lashley for like some JCW event, and I didn't know who the fuck he was. He was just some big dude.
I think that was before like Bellator and shit.
Probably. Yeah, this was probably 2012 maybe, something like that. So yeah, it was about 10 years ago. Yeah, and I just remember later, I was like, oh, yeah, that's that Bobby Lashley guy. I remember seeing his name. It was an interesting name. It just stood out to me. And then I remember watching a bunch of dudes shave their backs in the backstage. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that's what they do. They just got to shave down.
We got to tell that to Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gilbert Gottfried, the principal and problem child. Actually,
that's true.
Is he the principal or is he well, the first one he runs the orphanage, right?
Yes, the second movie he's the principal. Yeah.
Peabody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's in the third one too to some extent. I think he's the principal
know there was
again.
A third one.
Yeah, but they don't have the same kid. It's actually Little Pete from Pete and Pete.
Oh,
is
probably
the
really dumb.
And there was actually a cartoon.
Danny Tamborelli?
Yes, Danny Tamborelli was in the third one. And there was a cartoon.
I remember there was a cartoon. I never seen it, but I remember like the commercial. There's probably not that many episodes.
Yeah, and it was one of those cartoons that like USA would pick up and play during the summer, because they just needed fucking. It was that and Wings they would have, or like the fucking Mortal Kombat cartoon. I was like, I didn't even know it existed when it was like relevant.
La Femme Nikita.
There was La Femme Nikita. This is like USA has like the worst shows ever. Let's be fucking real here. They had wrestling, and that was really it. They've fucking really banked on that. No, I want to say my favorite movie of his is Aladdin. He was the parrot in Aladdin, and it was I don't know why. As a kid, I liked him. He was technically a bad guy because he was Jafar's little right hand guy. Because in that movie, everybody had like a little animal sidekick.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with his voice, I don't think he could be like a hero.
No,
he had a very heel voice.
But what was great, this is what I loved, was because he was a favorite character of mine. And in the second movie, Return of Jafar, he becomes a good guy. And he gets to sing songs.
to sing
he
songs.
he does get to sing songs. So I wanted to show you some of his songs. To this day, I was actually humming one of them when I came down here because I was like, "Oh, I remember this." Listen, this was great. Hold on, let me pull it up here. See, Return of Jafar soundtrack. Here, let's see here. I remember I was in the Disney store. Remember the Disney store in the mall?
Yes.
It was
Yes, I
when
do.
that movie was about to come
They
out.
had that like weird thing that you could sit in, right? Like a little theater thing for like kids.
I think so because they had a big like projection
Yeah.
screen, and they would just show like clips from movies and little songs from all the Disney stuff. But I remember they were advertising the Return of Jafar, which I gotta say, for a direct to tape back then.
VHS.
Yeah, VHS.
With those big ass fucking cassette
Yes.
like cases.
Yep. Yeah. It was actually
It's like seal proof.
one of the best direct to DVD sequels or whatever VHS sequels that they had back then. Because I thought it was. I watched that tape so many fucking times as a kid. I liked it more than the first one, even
Dude.
though it didn't have this. It didn't even have Robin Williams in it.
One of those cassette tape like holders, the I don't even know what you call it.
Oh, the thing that the tape sits in. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, that could survive like the Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
Like that thing, like I wouldn't be surprised if that was like you found one at the bottom of the Titanic with like fucking like the heart of the ocean in it.
Yeah,
like that thing is so solid. And it has the seal proof fucking
Disney was smart though because they knew that because it was really only Disney movies or kids movies
Yeah.
that were in there. And I remember. Well, because they were smart because they know kids are going to touch it, and
Right.
they're going to break they're going to want to take the tape
Yeah.
out, put it in, and they're going to break it, and you couldn't break them.
right.
I mean, I'm sure I still have tapes my parents have somewhere
Oh,
with that clamshell.
You
case.
know, I'm back in my dad's house, and he's still got them all.
Oh, well,
like
see, there you go.
And they're like accessible. They're like right there. Like I know where they're at.
But this,
I don't know if we have a VCR, but
this is it's actually all of a sudden that's becoming a hit, like a new hip thing. It's just like getting a record player, like
Yeah.
getting a VCR is like, ooh, that's a valuable item. Which I kind of regret throwing mine away, but there's actually a guy on Instagram that goes and will take modern movies, record them on cassette, and then makes his own custom cassette sleeves in the retro style of cassettes.
yeah.
For like movies like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or something
Right.
that came out in the last few years. But I remember hearing, this song is the best. I remember hearing this.
That's it. I've had it. I
Gilbert
hate to
Godfrey
be
has an
dramatic, but it's
amazing
time for me to
singing
wind up.
voice.
Terrific. Fine.
This is a song, just so everybody knows, this is a song about him like separating for Jafar. Like it's called I'm Looking Out for Me. And that's what he's gonna look out for himself. And I was like, that's like the perfect anti-hero. He's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the fucking Aladdin universe, right? He's just looking out for himself.
Fine before I wind up in a parachute.
Look, and I was
What's
like,
a fool to let you run the
I want to know who the guy was at Disney though that was like, listen, we need music. It's a Disney movie. We
Yeah.
have to have songs. Let's get a bunch of, and this isn't the only one. Let's get half the songs sung by Gilbert Godfrey. That's the move.
show? I'm cutting you loose, pal. Look out below.
This is the best.
This is like Joe Pesci fucking singing.
I'm looking out for me.
Oh man, so it's great. But he also sings like a love song. Check this out. I think it's this one. Hold on. I want to say, is it this one?
Forget about that guy.
Yeah.
Forget about the way you fell
He's
into his
amazing.
eyes.
He's a Renaissance man. He could do anything.
Forget about his charms. Forget about the way he held
Now,
you in his arms.
okay, this might be a stupid question, but like I get that this is his voice, right?
Yeah.
But is it like his real, like if you had a conversation with him, would he sound like this, or is he putting on an act? Like, is he not kayfabing?
So this is. I'm glad you mentioned that because you aren't the only person to ever asked that, and I have a clip here. Howard Stern actually played what his real voice is years ago. because he called him out for it. And he actually had him in studio, I believe, when he played this, and he just played it off, and he would never use his real voice. He just wouldn't, even when he played it for him. I think it's this. I want to say it's this one.
What voice is this from?
Aladdin.
Aladdin, he plays a parrot.
Yeah.
And in fact,
So
they
here's
wanted
the
Gilbert
kid-
for this. They even drew the parrot to look like him even before they gave him the part because they only had
They
Gilbert
were
in mind.
planning on him.
Hold on, let me
Here's some-
fast forward a little bit.
Bit lame. Just forget it.
Yeah,
Look
see,
at
that's
this.
him from
Look at
Aladdin.
this. I'm so ticked off that I'm molting.
Patience, Iago. You ever watch these cartoons?
And then,
Crying
He
during their
interrupts
own
everything
thing.
else.
Answering machine.
Okay.
And this is Gilbert's real voice.
There you go.
All right, just as scary.
Yes.
All right, but it's like a whole different guy.
Let
All
me
right,
hear.
here it is.
Yeah, Gary, it's Gilbert.
You're
I'll
kidding.
probably be there tomorrow, but if you could call me up, and just tell me what exactly is going on tomorrow. You know,
that's his real voice.
who's going to be there and everything like that.
That's the scariest.
You know
Gilbert.
what it sounds like?
Afraid of the-
Serial killer.
Yeah.
That's
You know what he sounds like?
What?
This is Kevin McAllister.
He
The
does.
father. Or whatever. I know it's not Kevin because he's Kevin. What's the dad's name?
But no. No,
What does
no.
he say? Is it just, this is Mr. McAllister?
It might-
The father.
It might be. It might be actually. But no, that's what he actually sounded like. But he would just never break character. Like it was crazy. There's actually a documentary about his life, which I've been meaning to see for years. And apparently, like, he's a little crazy. Like he doesn't want to spend money, and he hoards like every free soap, free toothbrush, or whatever you get at a hotel room. He goes to dollar stores and hoards just really cheap stuff. Like it's crazy. He's just this weird, and he's one of these guys too. Like I've seen his stand up before. I've seen like on Comedy Central.
I've seen some of his, like the roast that he's on.
Yeah, I've seen that. And he's very funny. He only has one album, and it's just him telling fucking street jokes. It's just dirt. It's called Dirty Jokes, and it's a bunch of dirty fucking jokes. And he ends with the Aristocrats. That's the the most dirtiest joke of them all.
Yeah.
And that's who. And he was. Oh, I think it was that air of mystery is what made him interesting to me. Is like you couldn't really find a lot of material on him. You just had
Right.
to like catch it when you seen it.
Huh.
I know it's he's
Well, I was trying to think of what else I know him from, because I know him from like Problem Child and
Yeah.
Aladdin, and that's pretty much it. And then like I've seen him on the Comedy Central roast,
Yeah.
and it seemed like I forget which roast it was, but he was up there like doing his thing, and like he was like the one guy that like people were like it was like I thought it was pretty good, but like people didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like they were like you could tell like the reaction from the crowd.
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
like they were like kind of get through your shit, man. Because
yeah.
he does have a very like distinctive style.
Well, what I liked about him is he would kind of go in and he would just hammer away at something to the point where it was like, is this funny? And it's almost not funny, but then he keeps on it enough where it then becomes funny.
Right.
Like, kind of like what Family Guy does,
Yeah.
where they're able to like just take something where you're like, it's no longer funny. And if they just keep doing it, it becomes better. And that's because that's what he would do is like, he would just have these extreme. There was one where he was like talking about Joan Rivers' vagina, like coming out of a fucking sewer grate or something like that. It just kept going. And there was one where, oh man, there was a bunch where that's what he would do. Yeah, he would just lay into something. But the thing is, it's like you never got what you wanted him. Like I bought his book. He wrote a book
Right.
called Rubber Balls and Liquor.
Sounds like a winner.
And it wasn't. I didn't really like it. It was interesting because he told his story, and there was jokes that like in it, but it doesn't work written down. Like you know what I mean? It
Right.
just
Because
doesn't.
you got to hear his voice.
Yeah, the voice is part of it. It's all part of like that act.
Like he if you think of like the most like distinctive voices like ever, he's got to be in the top like 5.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many. There was for a while up until he got in trouble for like he used to have a Twitter account. He used to tweet all kinds of shit, and he used to do the fucking Affleck duck.
Yep.
He did a bunch of kids cartoons and everything. I mean, obviously Aladdin, but he did like some PBS stuff. He was on all kinds of shit, and then he did like he got canceled because he made fun of I think it was like that Japanese tsunami or whatever.
Right.
And then then they just like they got fired. He got fired from everything, and then. But
Goddamn cancel culture.
yeah, he was early on it. Like he got hit first with the cancel culture before anybody else, and
His damn squinty eyes.
yeah, he would squint his eyes, and it was like he was little. He had this loud voice. It was just the weirdest thing.
It was like he was trying to like read something from far away.
Yeah,
It was just like
yeah, or he would always. It was like the lights were too bright for him, type of thing. Like it was just really, I don't know. It's like the weirdest character, and I just and that was what I was disappointed in when I read his book because I wanted to understand like, okay, what is this character? If you're gonna take it straight,
you need the audio book.
yeah, you do. You honestly, like I look at it this way: if a comedian's gonna write a book, I either want to know about your story, tell me your story, or tell me jokes, or Norm Macdonald's book was really good because he wrote a memoir, quote unquote, like a story of his life.
Right.
But half of it was made up shit. And it was clearly made up. Like
Like he went to the moon.
yeah, like he went to prison because he tried to kill he was in love with Sarah Silverman and tried to kill her boyfriend and try to like it was this whole crazy
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
At least it makes it interesting.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, it was and then I listened to the audiobook, so it was even better.
Like if I ever have a memoir, like I'm gonna be like, look, when I was 18, I was a cave diver, and I found a bunch of gold, and then I got robbed by crats, and fucking my goal, then this and this and this happened.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
the story of Caboose,
The story, yeah, it's the fucking.
Caboose Confidential. I mean, we're gonna get a bunch of Scott Cates stories.
We are
you
gonna
know
get
that
some Cates
who knows if any of those are true.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're true. I think they're very true. I would like to ask him some questions. There's some story. Well, we'll have to get into it with him there, but no, I think that what's interesting too is like he's like there's like certain comedians that, and maybe it's because I'm old and I don't really like pay attention too much to like new comedians or new entertainers in general, like rappers and everything like that shit.
Same.
But like they keep dying. And it's like I don't know anybody. Like I know there's like one comedian that I will follow now that in addition to the ones I've been following for the last like 20 years.
Right.
Like I'm still like if Dane Cook dies, I'm really gonna be upset because I'm not getting any replacements. We've lost Norm Macdonald. We've lost Gilbert Godfrey. Fucking Bernie Mac was years ago. I'm still reeling over that one. I'm still upset. I still wake up every day.
Bernie Mac show was awesome.
It was a pretty good show, isn't it?
When Jordan prank calls Triple H. It's a pretty damn good episode.
Did he really?
Yeah. He found like Triple H's number. Like Bernie Mac had like a list of like numbers, like celebrities or whatever. And he was pranking a bunch and he called Triple H and pranked him. And then Triple H called Bernie back and he was like, yeah, your nephew's doing this. And he's like, why don't you show up at the house and tell him that you're going to kick his ass? And so he shows up. And he's like, oh, you think it's funny? And he's acting like he's going to kick his ass. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything new.
But the worst thing, okay, so if someone tells me to listen to a certain artist, I will, and I'll check them out, and it is what it is. Like like comedy, music is subjective, but you can kind of tell pretty early if you're gonna like it or not, right? Mm-hmm. I hate when people suggest comedians. I fucking hate it because
Yeah.
I'm like, my sense of humor and like, I think a lot of comedians try too hard.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, this isn't funny. Like, or like, just, I'm very particular with comedians.
Well, there's a thing that I've noticed where you can almost see that there's a mathematic equation going on where they're like, if I say X and Y plus this absurdity, we get a laugh, right? And there's like certain people that I've seen do it, a lot of the women comedians, like Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
It was very. I don't understand how she got as big as she did.
No.
Truly, I don't, because she was basically doing the same thing Sarah Silverman, Sarah Silverman was doing way before, and I thought Sarah Silverman was funny. She was the only woman comedian that I actually thought was funny up until recently. She's kind of gotten a little crazy, but yeah, it's like when Amy Schumer came out, it was just a thing of like, oh, cute girl says crazy, gross or racist or homophobic, or whatever
Yeah.
the thing is, things. But nowadays, you can't do that.
Right.
Like, that was what I liked about Sarah Silverman early on, is because it would be this thing of, and it wasn't just her, but as a girl, it was a different take, where she would take on like this innocent girl persona and would say these ridiculous things, but would act like, there's nothing wrong with this.
Right.
Like, it's just, you're just this ignorant child almost. And there was something kind of funny in that. But because the times have changed and you can't make jokes like that, like there was one where she talked about she talked about how there's a special diamond that she wants. And you have to get it from the tailbone of an African baby. And they have to debone the babe. It's just like, there's no way she can make a joke like that. But because it was so absurd,
Right.
and she would say it so innocently, like, what's the problem here? Like, that's what made it funny. And now there's just, in that scene of like, I guess you'd say like women comedians, like none of them are doing that anymore.
Right.
And all the new ones just want to talk about woke shit.
Yeah. And like, even like, I don't know your opinion on like Segura.
Segura, I liked him early on, but I think he's a product of Joe Rogan's got the same problem, where because he has a very, very successful podcast and he broadcasts a lot, it kind of waters down the actual stand-up comedy.
Because like I've seen some of his Netflix stuff,
Yeah.
and like people are like, oh, you should check this out because it's really funny and stuff. I think like 10% of it's funny. Like the
Yeah.
rest of it, I'm like, dude, this is stupid.
Years ago, probably I want to say 10 years ago or so, when he was kind of his first couple comedy specials on Netflix.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good. But yeah, then he kind of is like, you kind of hit a wall a little bit. Like, I think he's a better broadcaster than he is a comedian. I think there's a lot of comedians that are like that. I think honestly, Joe Rogan's a better broadcaster than the comedian, in my opinion. Like, I've seen his stand-up stuff, and yeah, he can be funny, and I would see him live, but it's not like Dave Chappelle.
Right.
It's not like Norm Macdonald. It's
But
not like any of
I
that
don't even
stuff.
think like I never got into like Cat Williams. I never thought he was that funny.
I could never get into that.
And like, it's just like these, like, especially like Cat Williams had that one special that like blew up.
Yeah, I
and
didn't
I'm
get
like,
it.
dude, this is not funny.
Like,
or like even like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart like had the one, and it was decent.
Yeah. Y'all gonna learn today. Yeah.
That was, it was all right, but like that was basically just Bernie Mac.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, Kevin Hart, I thought was good. I seen two of his, and then but then it was one of those things where I see the pattern. I see your template that you're just filling in.
Right.
And most people don't. So this was I forget the comedian, but he had mentioned a young guy that I don't really pay attention to. I say young, he's probably my age, but that I don't really pay attention to. But he was saying as like, nowadays, comedians take a different approach to when they set up like their comedy specials, because they used to do a build up to like their big jokes at the end.
Right.
But nowadays, people don't actually watch the whole thing.
Right.
They'll watch
It's
maybe
for like clips.
Yeah, they watch for clips, or they watch like 20 minutes of it on Netflix. And so what they'll do is they'll put all the big stuff up front, and then all like the longer, slower stuff at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too, is like, I always liked listening. I listen to people like George Carlin, or Chappelle was good at doing it too, where they could just like draw something out. Even like old Bill Cosby would just draw
Right.
something out for a while, and that's what I enjoyed was just that. I didn't need just a bunch of like jokes to slap me in the face.
Yeah.
That's why I liked. That's what I kind of like about Tom Segura early on. I'm just not connecting with him anymore.
Yeah, because like Chappelle, it's like the entire stand up is one big joke, and
Yeah,
like it
yeah, yeah.
all ties in. Like, and then he'll say something at the very beginning that you kind of forget about, and it ties in at the very end.
Right.
And it's almost like genius. But yeah, between him and like Tosh. And then there was a dude that I never really got into, but I did always think he was funny. He was always on those roasts. It was Jizzleneck.
Oh, Jeselnik?
Jeselnik.
Yeah. Jeselnik.
Jizzleneck. Jeselneck.
Jeselnik?
Yeah.
I think
He's got a very different approach.
Yeah.
He's very dry, but I
Yeah.
think he's pretty funny. I just never like watched something like fully of his. I've just seen him on the roast.
Same here. Like I've seen him in like on like podcasts, or he had a show on Comedy Central for a little bit, but it just didn't work.
Right.
Because he's just too dry. It's just too.
He's funny, but he doesn't have personality.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds like he's a better writer than a performer.
Right.
And that was always something like I remember. Like I said, I was a big fan of George Carlin, and like he was a great writer, and honestly, I think his performance was weak. But for him, it kind of worked because he was just like different from everybody. You know, he was like in that era of like Richard Pryor and shit.
Right.
But like, there's definitely like a thing where like Steve Martin. So I was watching Steve Martin not
You were
long
watching
ago.
Father of the Bride?
Yes, great movie. It actually made me cry a little bit at the end. No, I was watching like his old stand-up comedy because he was like huge as a comedian.
Yeah.
He was like Dane Cook levels
Yeah.
back in the day. Like he was big, and then he just gave it up because he couldn't even perform anymore. Like Dave Chappelle,
You're right.
like he couldn't perform because he would sell out like these giant arenas. And he'd be like, these people aren't even listening to me. They can't even hear. And because he was the type that would do like this real subtle, like meta, like the joke is that he's making fun of other comedians doing the joke
Right.
type of thing. And I identify that it's technically funny, but I just never could I could never get into it. Like I could watch it and to appreciate it. But he'd be one of those guys, kind of like Jeselnik,
Yeah.
where it's like I appreciate what you're doing, but it just doesn't click for me.
Right.
Like I'll watch it to see how you approach it, but that's all I'll get out of it.
Well, it's probably like it's probably compared to like a Mayweather fight, right?
Yeah.
So Mayweather is, like other boxers appreciate what Mayweather does,
Yeah.
but his fights are super boring because he's actually using technique and not like trying to knock you out.
That's actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, because there's something there with like a Gilbert Godfrey. I remember I wanted to figure out like what is it that's making this funny? It can't be just his voice.
Right.
It can't be just his material, because listening to him do fucking just dirty jokes that anybody that you've heard any old man say was actually entertaining.
Right.
So like, what was it? And it made you want to like dig into that. Whereas in like I was saying with like a Steve Martin, where it's like, okay, well, I can kind of see what you're doing, but
Right.
it's not really shaking me up.
Yeah, and like if you're in the quote unquote industry and you're another comedian, you can
Yeah.
probably appreciate it much more than just a fucking regular Joe Schmo that's watching your stand up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like oh man, there was, what's that guy's name? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank on him. There's a few that were kind of like
Mina Mencia.
yeah, Carlos Mencia. Yes, he was a very cutting edge. Wrote great
He
material.
was cutting edge
He
because
was.
he stole a bunch of shit. He's
he's-
very cutting edge.
He's still around. You know what's crazy? Now, he hasn't met up with Joe Rogan, but he's actually been on other podcasts, and it's so weird because he still will not admit. He still would not admit that he stole anything.
Well, like, okay, so you get to a point
And his
where
career
you're like,
is destroyed.
right? But you got to get to you're at a point where you're like, all right, well, now if I admit it, I'm really done. So I'll just kind of roll with it, I guess.
But it's so weird though, because like I've seen I've seen video of him as of recent, when the last few years of him, like he'll film himself doing stand up somewhere, and he's doing like very small venues, or he'll do like, I think he's got a very big like, what would you say, like a Mexican following or
Yeah.
something. Like there's people like George Lopez
Right.
and shit like that that'll have like more of a Hispanic following.
Or
And
Fluffy or whatever the hell, like Iglesias,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
his name is.
But like his obviously isn't that big because he's not respected. But
Right.
he's able to draw from that. But it's like I seen him doing jokes, and you could tell in his face like he's laughing, but he's like, "Please laugh at this joke.
Right.
Please don't heckle me," because I'm sure there's so many people fucking just talk shit to him all the time.
Yeah, he probably needs to get paid, and probably just is like, I gotta get through this show.
Yeah.
I just gotta get through this show.
And the thing is like he was making bank for a
Yeah.
while. Like he was on top of it.
Because he had the fucking show.
Yeah, he had the show.
He was the show right after Chappelle. Like he was
Yes.
supposed to take that over.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
that kind of skit comedy thing.
And it was just he was because he branded himself. I'll never forget the first time I seen Carlos Mencia. It was on one of those Comedy Central. You know, they used to do like the half-hour things.
Yeah.
It's like when Dane Cook popped was
Yeah.
from that, right? And I remember seeing him, and it was right after 9/11. It was that same year, and I remember he came up and he was like, he was what he was talking about was actually pretty like, he was very animated. And back then you didn't know he stole anything. So it was
Right.
like, oh man, this guy's actually really entertaining. And then he was able to like make it serious, but it wasn't like that ham-handed like, hey, everybody clap for the troops bullshit.
Right.
You know? He kind of like, I can't remember exactly how he finished it, but he ended not even on a joke. But it was like, it was in 2001 or maybe 2002. And he kind of ended it with like basically like appreciate every moment that you got,
Right.
because sometimes you don't know when it's going to end type of thing. And it didn't even sound corny, like it just, and maybe it was because of the timing, because it was
Yeah,
recent.
you never know if you're going to be in a fiery building.
Right. And I was like, man, that guy is like, I want to see more of that guy. Like that was fucking dope as hell. And I remember he had a couple DVDs, went to Blockbuster,
Yep.
and I rented one before he got really famous, and then there was one after he got famous. And then yeah, the fucking Joe Rogan thing, I remember seeing that, and I was like, what?
Well, yeah, because when
was like, what is
when
this?
Chappelle, quote unquote, went crazy, went to Africa and
Yeah.
stopped doing the Chappelle show, like it was basically like fucking like table fed to Mencia,
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
skit comedy, because they had that slot open, and he was the next big up and coming guy that was gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then fucking Schumer got it like years later,
Yeah.
and it was terrible.
It's like, well,
And
basically,
she stole jokes too.
basically the thing is, it's like, are you a minority? Can you do skits?
Yeah.
Go do this thing. You know what I'm saying? It was fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I'll never forget his thing. It's so crazy because what really took him down, even the Joe Rogan stuff, like people online were going to talk shit. And I remember some radio shows got in on it. I don't think it made its way up to like Howard Stern level, but it was like some big shows like Opie and Anthony and shit were like actually brought him on to talk with like Joe Rogan and shit.
Right.
Like they actually like fed this like almost like a wrestling work for a while. But it kind of just like went away a little bit. And people
Right.
just knew like, I think he steals jokes, but like whatever. But the fucking footage, I don't know if I've ever showed you the footage of when he stole the Bill Cosby joke.
Yeah.
Bro, like that, and for him to say like, no, it's like, dude, that was huge in the 80s. Like everybody this was before Bill Cosby was a rapist.
Right.
Or he was technically, but nobody knew. And
It wasn't a big deal at the time.
no, somebody was like, whatever, he rapes and he saves.
Yeah.
But he was,
He does Jello, dude.
yeah. Wasn't that,
Or whatever the fuck how he would talk. You know, he'd talk like that. He'd be like, Jello.
I don't think he
That's
did
how
that.
Cosby talked.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he was like, and then he was in Jack.
Oh yeah, he was in Jack. That's right. I was a big Cosby fan. I remember when I was excited when he would actually be in a movie. I'm like, no way, he's in Jack.
Yeah,
Like, what? He's in
he
this?
was in Jack.
I wanted to watch every movie he was in, like fucking Ghost Dad. Ghost Dad, dude, we got to watch Ghost Dad sometime. You haven't lived until you've seen that movie.
I've seen Ghost Dad.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's great. It's great. We got to rewatch it. We should rewatch it and fucking do some commentary on it.
Speaking of stolen jokes,
Oh,
I got some stolen jokes.
oh, you got some jokes. Let me.
I
let
got
me
some
pull
stolen
out,
jokes.
Let me pull out mine here. Yeah, what do you got?
All right. So, a penguin,
Uh huh.
right,
Yeah.
takes his car to the shop,
Okay.
and the mechanic says it'll take about an hour for
Uh-huh.
him to check it.
Okay.
While he waits, the penguin goes to an ice cream shop and orders a big sundae to pass the time.
Oh, okay.
So the penguin isn't the neatest eater, and he ends up covered in melted ice cream. When he returns to the shop, the mechanic takes one look at him and says, "Looks like you blew a seal." And he says, "No," the penguin insists, "it's just ice cream." Get it?
I get it.
Blew a
You
seal?
blew a seal.
Ha.
Sucking seal dick.
Sucking seal dick
Now,
on the break.
Now, what if he actually meant like not even like an animal seal, but the singer? He's like, it looks like he blew a seal.
It looks like he blew seal. He's
Yeah,
like,
when-
"Well, I did get a kiss from a rose."
Yeah.
That's how that joke should end.
I'm gonna pull one. I'm gonna pull this one here. So a man.
All right.
A man.
A man.
I always love a joke that starts with a man.
A man.
A man goes to a doctor and says, "Doctor, I don't know if my wife has TB for tuberculosis or VD for venereal disease. I don't know if she's got TB or VD."
All right.
And the doctor says, "Well, listen, this is what you do, okay? You get some time set aside, it's just you and her in the home. You chase her around the bed a little bit. Just chase her around the bedroom. If she coughs, then you can fuck her. Tuberculosis makes you cough."
Oh. Huh.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
VD.
And VD
You don't-
is a
you don't
venereal
wanna
disease.
fuck her.
That's a
Yeah, you don't want to
STD.
fuck her if she's got.
That's got STDs. Like we're not gonna get the STDs though.
No.
There's-
No, they're gonna get the girls with
Yeah.
STDs.
Oh, you gotta be careful when you say that. 'Cause
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
Fucking Steiner, that piece of shit. Fucking
right.
Steiner.
What's long, green, and smells like bacon?
Long green
And smells like bacon.
smells like bacon. I don't know. What's
Kermit the Frog's fingers.
because he fingers a pig.
Woo!
Oh, man, that's a good one. I like it. Hold on a second. Here's one. This one I've heard this one from a few different places. I think Eddie Murphy even said this once. So, let's see, a bear and a rabbit.
A bear and a rabbit.
Yep, they're taking a shit in the woods together.
Okay.
They do this.
Does anyone hear it?
Well, that's how. If they don't, then did they actually shit?
I know.
We don't know.
A bear and a rabbit are taking a
That's for
shit, right?
That's for the sequel. But yeah, it's a bear and a rabbit. They're taking a shit in the woods. And the bear turns to the rabbit and goes, "Hey, do you have any trouble with the shit sticking to your fur? Yeah, you have this issue with that happening afterwards." And the rabbit says, "No, I don't have that problem. Like that, what are you, crazy? I don't got that issue.
I don't got that issue.
Yeah,
Dingleberries.
yeah." So the bear wipes his ass with the rabbit.
Huh. He's
Because
got the bear shit in his fur now.
Yeah, he doesn't because he doesn't have a problem with
Yeah.
shit sticking to his fur.
Yeah.
See how that works out?
That does work.
You gotta
out.
be careful on the question. Sometimes if you're shitting next to another man, you gotta be careful of the questions they ask because they might just want to wipe their shit on you. That's the lesson out of this. I
There
like
is
a
a lesson.
joke with a lesson.
Well, here's a lesson.
Yeah.
So husband and wife,
Yes.
they're having a conversation,
Uh-huh.
and the husband says to the wife, "I bet you can't tell me something that will make me both happy and sad at the same time."
Okay.
So he tells that to the wife. She's thinking about it for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and she looks at him, and she goes, "Your penis is bigger than your brother's."
I get it. It
see?
took me a minute. I was like,
See?
That took me a
Happy
second.
and sad.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's nice, but how do you know that's the size
Yeah.
of my brother's penis is?
Yep.
And then it turns into a murder-suicide.
Yes, it does.
That's
That's what what happened to OJ.
That's how domestics start.
Speaking of domestics, I got a good domestic one.
Okay, all right. What do you
How did Rihanna find out Chris Brown was cheating on her?
Rihanna find out Chris Brown, which I don't know how.
She found another woman's lipstick on his knuckles.
Ah, there we go. Now, the thing about that joke is you got to think about, like, oh, wait a minute. So she found lipstick from another woman. That's the cliche.
Yep.
But it's on his knuckles. So that must be how he shows his love by beating women in the face.
He cared enough about her
Like,
to punch her in the face.
That joke is so deep on their relationship and how it functions. Because it's not.
He wouldn't love you if he didn't hit you.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Oh, God.
That's how you know. Well, I have another bear joke.
Oh, I love bear
another,
jokes.
Yes, there's nothing like a good bear joke. Okay, if you don't
know bear jokes, then get the fuck out.
If you don't listen to a bear joke once a week, you might be right. Oh, that's another book. I actually got one of those books around here. The fucking
The redneck book?
redneck book. Side note, before I get into this bear joke, okay? Talking about comedians with a fucking system, like a fucking Mad Lib system on how to fucking write a joke. Jeff Foxworthy and his goddamn "You Might Be a Redneck."
I fucking hated that.
I don't even know what the original ones were. I think it's like, if you have a TV sitting on another TV, you might be a redneck. It'd be something like that.
Right.
But you can do it with anything.
Yeah.
You can literally do it with anything. I could sit here right now and bang out 100 of those where I'm like, if you find out your grandmother has corns on her feet and you like to suck them off using ranch dressing, you might be a redneck. It
If
works.
you were fucking your sister last night and you had a great time and slapped your brother high five and tagged him in,
Yeah.
you may be a redneck.
Yeah. If you mow the lawn in the nude at midnight, you might be a redneck. See, it just works. No matter what you put,
Yeah.
you just draw it out. Anyway, I got a bear joke. So
All right.
I don't know if you can bear with this. in just a
Ha!
minute.
Is that the joke?
No, it's
I said that's a good one.
so a man,
A man.
another man though. This is a different man.
Okay, a different man from
Yeah.
previous.
But this man goes hunting in the woods and he
Okay.
sees a big grizzly bear.
Big grizzly bear.
He takes out his rifle
Takes out his rifle.
and he opens fire on it. The
Bam,
bear.
bam, bam.
Now be prepared for this. The bear growls.
Okay.
Jumps on the man, turns him over on his belly, and fucks him in the ass,
All right.
as bears are so prone to do.
I've seen Revenant.
Then the hunter, he's really angry. He comes back the next day with a machine gun. He opens fire on it. The bear growls, jumps forward, knocks the hunter to the ground, and guess what?
Fucks him in the
He
ass.
fucks him in the ass again. He can't get enough of it. Now, enough's enough. This hunter, he's really angry. Like,
Why does he
at
keep
this
coming
point-
back?
At this point, his anger is like palpable. Like
Right.
you can literally, if you were to, he would be burning red. He's sitting at home. He's writing a manifesto. He's like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver, writing out a fucking novel about what he's going to do to this bear when he finally gets it, and how it's a symptom of the greater loss of society. So anyway, now he's really angry. He comes back the next day with a cannon. Okay, and this time
A
he's
Nick Cannon?
Yes, Nick Cannon.
He comes back with Nick Cannon. All right.
He comes back with a cannon this time, and he sees the same bear. He opens fire with the cannon, shooting a cannonball. The bear, guess what? Growls, leaps forward, knocks the hunter to the ground, turns him over on his stomach, and says to this hunter, "Something tells me you don't just come here to hunt, do you?"
He's getting fucked.
That's what he's like. You can keep coming over here.
Yeah.
I think you like it. It's
Yeah.
basically what he's implying.
Yeah.
It's nothing like a good bear joke. You haven't lived unless you've told a good lengthy bear joke.
Well, so we've all been on
forgot
road
about that
trips, right?
Yes.
You know, families driving down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this family happens to be driving behind a garbage truck.
Okay.
and a dildo flies out
Oh.
from the back of the truck,
Okay.
and it hits the windshield.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mom's all embarrassed. She's like, "What am I going to tell my kid? You know, how am I going to explain this?" So she's trying to keep her son's innocence. He's a child.
Yeah.
So she turns around and she goes, "Don't worry, dear. It was just an insect."
Mm-hmm.
And the boy replies, "Wow, Mom, how did the insect get off the ground with a cock like that?" It was a fucking dildo.
Yeah. That's good. That kid is smart.
He is smart.
That kid's going places.
He is.
That kid's really going places. I have a. That reminds me of another joke. Let me put this other one away.
Is it another bear joke? I hope it's another bear joke.
No, I was going to do a bear joke, but it reminded me of this one. Oh wait, I can't say. That's got a word I can't say. I can't do that one. Hold on a second. I got into all right, let's do this one here. Let's do this one here. So it's loading. I'm sorry. It's
Why does Dr. Pepper come in a can?
Why does Dr. Pepper come in a can? I don't fully know.
It's because his wife died.
Wait, what?
Why does Dr. Pepper come in a can?
Why does Dr. Pepper come in a can? Okay.
Because his wife died.
I mean, he can.
He doesn't come inside his wife anymore.
Yeah, but why a can in particular? Like, he can come in anything if he wants.
Yeah, but he can't come in his wife. So he comes in a can, like Butters.
This is a special goo.
Yep.
Oh, God. Hold on. My fucking page crashed.
All right,
My
I'll
shit.
keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I got to reload mine.
What do
Hold
you
on.
call an anorexic woman
Yeah.
with a yeast infection?
Oh, I might actually know this, but for the sake of the joke, I will. What?
A quarter pounder with cheese.
Oh, okay. That wasn't what I was thinking of, but that's good. I actually like that one. No.
Are you still down? I got more.
Go. Give me one more.
What's the difference between a hooker and a drug dealer?
A hooker and a drug dealer. The difference between a hooker and a drug dealer. I don't know.
A hooker can wash her crack and sell it again. Drug dealer.
Oh,
can't.
yeah, I
Drug
get
dealer
it.
can't.
Yeah.
Boom!
That was pretty solid. Now I have one for you.
All right.
A little bit different. This one's a little racist. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Are we going to get canceled?
I don't. I hope not. So there's a Japanese man goes to.
Oh, if it's racist against Japs.
I don't think you could say that.
Oh, well, sorry.
I don't know. So a Japanese man goes, or maybe a Chinese.
I
man.
made it racist.
Yeah, now you really made it right.
God damn it.
So a Japanese man goes to the eye doctor.
We love Chinese and Japanese people.
I love them. Yeah, we don't. Dude, how many?
You were going to say Kim Jong-un.
No, he's Korean.
I know, but that's what you were going to say. There's no other reason why you would have said Kim.
I was gonna say Ken.
Liang.
Yes.
Oh.
So. Was it? Oh, so a Japanese man goes to an eye doctor. Eye doctor takes a look at his eyes and does a full exam, and he's like, "Well, sir, it looks like you have a cataract." And he goes, "No, doctor, what are you talking about? You're crazy. I think you need the glasses." He's like, "I don't have a. No, that's not true. I drive a Rinkin Continental."
I get it. Shitty sushi.
Yeah. yeah, it's one of those types of things, you know. So
Shitty walk.
Yeah. It was what was the other? There was one wait. I got one here. I don't have any more bear jokes, unfortunately. That was really what I was really banking on the bear jokes. I'm not gonna lie.
Man.
That was a big deal for me. So I got one. Oh, I got one right here. Okay, so another man.
Another man.
Now this man has a son.
All right, man and
He
son.
goes to the son's room, and the son goes. Oh no, he goes to the son actually, and he sees him. He walks in on his son. His son's jerking off. He's like, he looks at him all disappointed. He's like, I didn't know I was raising a deviant. So he goes to his son. He goes, hey, son, if you keep masturbating, you're going to go blind. And the son looks at him and he goes, Dad, I'm over here. Dad, look at me over here.
Huh.
Because he's
masturbating.
like father, like son. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's a house full of deviants.
Full of jism.
Yeah, it's full of jism.
It's full of jism.
There was one there was one more that I had here. I was trying to load.
Do you know what a 6.9 is?
A 6.9? No,
Yep.
what's a 6.9?
It's a good thing screwed up by a period.
I get it. That's good. That's a good one. Here's one. So a man, as most of these start with, a man goes to a whorehouse.
All right.
And
Been
he'll-
there.
Yeah, and it's if we can all relate here. Only has $2.
$2.
$2 to his
Not
name.
going to get much.
And they say, well, if you go up to the room, to like room 8, we'll take your $2, and in exchange we have a dead hooker.
All right.
She's dead.
Katie Vick.
Who?
Just keep going.
Okay. So he says, okay, whatever. We've been all in that situation before.
I don't know if we have.
So he goes up there for a while and he comes back down. And they go, well, hey, how'd it go? Did you get your money's worth out of it? And he goes, oh, it was great. The only problem was her nose kept running. And then they go, oh, well, that means she's probably full. Because they've been loading up this dead hooker full of jizz for a while.
Through the mouth.
Yeah.
Up, down the nose.
Yeah.
I get
It's
it.
all connected to the respiratory system. It's more of it's hidden with like a sex joke, but it's really a joke about the human anatomy. Doctors really can appreciate that.
Doctors do appreciate a lot of things. Speaking of doctors.
Oh yes.
A guy.
Okay.
This time, not a man.
Uh-huh.
A guy. A guy. He's sitting in a doctor's office, right? Doctor walks in and says, I have some bad news. He's like, I'm afraid you're going to have to stop masturbating. The guy goes, I don't understand, Doc. He goes, why? And because the doctor says, he goes, I'm trying to examine you. He was jerking off while he was trying to examine him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Say that one again. That slid right by me.
All right.
Hold on a second.
A guy is sitting at a doctor's office, right?
Okay.
The doctor walks in and says, I have some bad news. I'm afraid you're going to have to stop masturbating. I don't understand, Doc, the patient says. Why? Because the doctor says, I'm trying to examine you.
Oh, the guy tells the doctor he's got to stop masturbating.
No, the doctor says he has to stop masturbating because he's sitting there masturbating while the doctor's trying to examine him.
Oh, okay. So I was right the first time when I heard this. For some reason, I flipped it around. I was like, why is the doctor jerking off? That really seems unprofessional. I mean, it is a joke, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not catching it. All right, here's one for you. I got
Oh, God.
the rich man. There's a rich man and a poor man.
Okay.
If I were a rich man, deedle 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 deedle. A rich man and a poor man share the same wedding anniversary.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's crazy. Every year.
Oh, yeah, it is every. I guess
Yeah,
the anniversary
that's
is
how
every year.
anniversaries are done. Every year they meet up.
On the same day, or
Yeah, the exact
That's-
same
that's
day.
weird.
That's actually the wives really get pissed because they're like, wait a minute, why are you leaving on our anniversary? It's like, you wouldn't understand, lady.
it's an anniversary.
It's an
God damn it!
anniversary. I share it with another man as well.
That's a great joke.
Yeah, that's it. No, so a rich man and a poor, and they come from different sides of the tracks. He's like, I need to meet up with this poor man.
Oh, dude, I hate when the tracks separate the rich and the poor.
I know. He's like, the rich man leaves his mansion, and he's like, honey, where are you going? We're gonna be late for our anniversary dinner. He's like, you wouldn't understand. I need to meet up with a poor man.
On the other side of the tracks.
He has nothing to his name. You could only wish you could understand the relationship I have with this poor individual and the poor man as well. So he goes, why are you going? And he goes, listen, lady, I need to meet up with this very wealthy man. We share the same anniversary date. It's much more important than this fucking stupid day of anniversary with you. So anyway, they meet up. And a rich man and a poor man, they share the same wedding anniversary. Every year, they meet up to compare gifts.
Oh, okay.
So one particular year, they meet up on a park bench as two married men. Where are
Park
you going to
bench.
meet up?
Yeah, where
Park
else?
bench.
Park
That's where
bench.
you meet other married men when they don't want to, when they want to cheat
Be
on
with
their
their
wives with other men. This joke has gay undertones already. But anyway, on a particular day, they meet
Just
up.
like Top Gun.
Yes, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just saying so on a particular year, they meet up on a park bench, and the rich man starts by saying, you know, I got my wife a diamond ring and a new Mercedes. That way, the ring isn't right. You know, she can drive back to the jeweler and still be happy with a new car, which I think is a little ridiculous because it's like, well, what is it? What do you mean it's not right? What, it doesn't fit? You can get it fixed.
Right.
But and she gets both. What do you think she's going to throw the ring away? Be like, I don't want this diamond ring. Just put it in the garbage.
Maybe.
But anyway, he goes, yeah, so she can drive back. Hey, if she don't like the ring, she can take it back in the new car. Hey, every scenario is taken care of, right? I guess if you're that rich, you have a lot of disposable income. The poor man looks at him and says, you know what I got my wife?
A can of beans.
My loving wife. I got my wife a pair of slippers and a dildo.
You know why? I know
That
it.
way-
I know it.
If she don't like the slippers, she can go fuck herself.
Yep. I knew that.
And then wait. And then the two went into a rest area and blew each other. Nah, I added that.
I didn't know that part.
I didn't-
Moose actually did the same thing. We used to do like a gift exchange.
Did he?
And he bought Sean slippers and a dildo.
Did he really?
Yes. And he was like, he first gave him the slippers. He's like, what are these? And he's like, he goes, if you don't like them, go fuck yourself.
The fact that he spent probably $20+ on a fucking dildo.
I know.
Those aren't cheap.
But it was great.
Oh,
But
God.
I'm all joked out.
No, that's good. Well, I just figured, in remembrance of Gilbert Godfrey.
And
I think
all the rest of the lost shoulders. Soldiers.
Well, he also lost his shoulders well long ago.
I heard when you die, you lose your shoulders.
Yes, you have a tendency that can happen. But no, I figured that would be a great way to.
No, it was
kind of
good.
Give a remembrance.
Yeah, it was good. There was some clever jokes in there, and we stole all of them.
Yes. Hey, listen, R.I.P. Mencia. This goes out to you. Shout out to Mencia. Hold it down strong.
And all the Asians that we adore.
Yes.
You said a racist.
What?
You said a racism earlier.
That wasn't it. It wasn't really. We'll
Just
call
kidding.
up Ken. We'll
Yeah, oh.
ask him about it. I'll hit him up on Facebook. Like, what
What do you think about this joke?
it's because the R thing,
I also said Japs.
Well, that's different. That's
Whatever, dude.
anyway.
Anywho, until next time, I am Bobby Caboose. This is Melvin Troy. Check us out Turnbuckle Tuesdays, every Tuesday, live on twitch.tv/Melvin Troy. Check us out on social media. If you're listening to this, you probably already have. So until next time, again, I am Bobby Caboose, Melvin Troy. And what you gonna do, brother? win the 64-bit legends. And all the 64-bit legend-ites